Hey, BookTube, I have another book haul for you. This is a combination of a couple of books I got out from the library, and then also a lot of, books that I have bought over the course of the last several weeks. So I'm going to start with the two library books. One is a relatively new release, and then one is a classic that I want to try to read, but I don't want to buy a copy of it. So I got it from the library. My library isn't technically open to like go in and browse, but you can do a curbside pickup. So that's what I've been doing. I'm really tired of it, but at least I can get books as opposed to when it was completely shut down. I'm hoping maybe at some point they will reopen for browsing. They are allowing people to come in and use computers for short amounts of time, but we shall see. Anyway, so the classic that I got that I want to try reading but didn't want to buy was the Decameron by Giovanni Boccaccio. And this is, of course, takes place in 1348 in the summer during the Black Death, and a group of people are all sitting around while this plague is ravaging their city, and they decide to tell each other stories, and so each the stories that they tell is in here. So yeah, I wanted to try reading this because I was trying to think. There was some other book or something that I was interested in that's similar to this, and so I wanted to read this as well as that book. So I got it out. And then I picked up, and I'm not sure how I feel about this. I'm not sure I want to read it even, but I had it on hold and it came in the other day, and that is The Room Where It Happened, a White House memoir by John Bolton. Yeah, I don't know. I want to pick this up and read it because it's here, but yet I don't want to read it at the same time, so we will see if I actually get to this. If I do, I will report back, or it might go back to the library unread, who knows. But yeah. Okay, so those are the two books that I got out from the library. The rest of these are all books that I have bought over the course of the last several weeks. It was really funny. My parents were here, not this past week, but the week before. And one of the days that they were here, I got like 5 Amazon packages. One of those packages, of course, was a big window blind that I had ordered for my living room window. But the rest were all books. And my dad, the mail lady comes to the door and is handing us all these packages. And my dad is like, "What is all of this?" And I'm just like, "What do you think it is, Dad? What do you think it is?" But anyway, so yeah, that was entertaining. I knew that was going to happen. But whatever, it's my money. So one of the books that I bought recently was Rachel Ray by Anthony Trollope. It's another one of his standalone novels. And this one offers Trollope's warmest and most intimate scenes of provincial, I never can pronounce that right. Burgoy's life. I don't think I said it right, did I? Anyway, his most detailed rendition of the social and physical topography of a rural community, one of his most poetic love scenes, and some unusually rich and imaginative evocations of the pastoral beauty of the countryside. So, yeah, Rachel Ray by Anthony Trollope. And then I have some books that are about Samuel Johnson, because I'm still slowly making my way through The Life of Samuel Johnson by James Boswell. So I picked up Richard Holmes's Dr. Johnson and Mr. Savage, which is the story of a mysterious 18th century friendship between Richard Savage, who was a poet and playwright, and a convicted murderer, and then his friendship with Samuel Johnson. I heard about this on Johnny Keene's channel. He's been on this big Samuel Johnson kick, and he hauled this, and I was like, that sounds interesting, so I got a copy of it. I also, again, heard about this from Johnny Keene, and I got The Club, Johnson, Boswell, and the Friends Who Shaped an Age by Leo Damrosch. And so this is about Johnson, Boswell, and their whole group of friends. It doesn't really give a good description of it on the back. It's just blurbs, so I can't really say much of what it's about, but it sounded interesting, and I'm looking forward to reading this one as well. Let's see. Continuing on with some other paperback books that I bought. I don't know why that's a thing, but I got the Female Pen by B.G. McCarthy, Women Writers and Novelists, 1621 to 1818. And I saw this on somebody else's channel, and I don't remember who it was. Yeah, I don't know. It might have been Johnny. I'm not positive. But anyway, this is classic work of pre-feminist literary criticism, challenging and authoritative assessment of women's contribution to English literature. So I'm excited to get into this and read more about women during this time period from 1621 to 1818, and also because this is like the first piece of like pre-feminist criticisms. I think that'll be fascinating. And then along a similar vein, kind of, I have The Shadow in the Garden, a biographer's tale by James Atlas. And so this is a book about people who write biographies. And so it talks about various folks who have written biographies of different people. And so I think that this will be a fascinating read as well. There's a blurb on here by Ron Chernow, who wrote the Hamilton biography. There's one from Stacy Schiff, who wrote the biography of Cleopatra. So this is another one I'm excited about. And then I have Henry III, 1207 to 1258 by David Carpenter. I saw this on Steve Donahue's channel. He got a finished copy of it in the mail not too long ago, and I wanted a copy of it, so I ordered it, even though it was beastly expensive for this big new hardcover, but whatever. And so this is, of course, the first part of a groundbreaking biography of Henry III, covering the first 50 years of his life from his birth to the end of his personal rule. So I'm looking forward to that because I have, of course, my whole obsession with English history. And then I have a book I just got today, actually, that's a fiction book, and that is Hamnet, a novel of the plague by Maggie O'Farrell. And this is what I'm hoping to get to rather soon, actually. I kind of want to start it, like maybe tonight or tomorrow, because I've heard such good things about it. I think I will really enjoy it. It takes place in England in 1850. The Black Death creeps across the land, an ever-present threat. A young Latin tutor, penniless and bullied by a violent father, falls in love with an extraordinary, eccentric woman. So, yeah, I'm excited to read this as well. And then I have another non-fiction book that I just read the prologue of the other night, but I was tired and I didn't end up reading any more than that. I went to bed. And that is The Black Cabinet, The Untold Story of African Americans and Politics During the Age of Roosevelt. I saw this on the History Shelf, Peg, her channel, and so I'm looking forward to reading this. I really liked the prologue. The prologue was really good. This is by Jill Watts. I don't think I said her name when I first said the title. But anyway, so yeah, I've started this one, hoping to make some more progress in it very, very soon. And then the last book to show you is it's the finished copy of my favorite book of the year so far. I don't think anything is going to beat this book in terms of my favorites, but I could be wrong. I actually ordered 3 copies of this book because I wanted to give 2 to a couple of friends of mine. So, yeah, but this is my copy, and that is Freshwater for Flowers by Valerie Perrin, which is a novel I have gushed about on this channel multiple times. I read it as a part of when I was a panelist for Indies Introduce, and I love this book so much. I love it so much. And look at this cover, guys. Look at it. So pretty. Anyway, Valerie Perrin is a French author, and This is the story of Violet, who is a caretaker of a cemetery in a small town, and how her life is intertwined with some of the other folks that come to the cemetery, and there's also kind of a mystery in there too about Violet's daughter and her death. And yeah, this is just such a good book. Such a good book. And yeah, I already sent it to my friend Carrie, who lives in Montana, because Carrie needed a copy of this. And then I want to give it also to my friend Amy, who's one of my colleagues. She was also my creative writing professor when I was in college, but haven't seen Amy to give it to her. So yeah, but I love this book. I really want to reread it now that I have the finished copy, but I'm trying not to because I have all these other books around me that I haven't read, and I don't need to reread this one. I just read it like in January or February. But yeah, I really, really want to reread this, guys. I really want to reread it. And I don't really like to reread books that much. So you know that, like, I'm obsessed with this book when I'm, like, dying to reread it. But anyway, that is the last book of this book haul. This beautiful, beautiful book. Yeah, so those are all the books I have acquired recently, a couple from the library, and then the rest I bought. This has been the summer of book buying. I have no regrets, especially with the fact that other things about this summer have sucked so much given the whole COVID thing. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on any of these books if you've read them or if you would like to read them. If you would like to read Freshwater for Flowers, you should. It is really, really good, and Europa Press's editions are just absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, I will talk to you again soon. Thanks, BookTube.